All right, guys, before we get started on this, quick story. So first off, big thanks to Exquisite Timepieces, Naples, Florida, John, for sending me this watch and many others so I can check them out and you guys get to see them as well. Now, this particular watch, this guy here, this is not the first time I've requested to see this watch. I knew that Exquisite had this watch, and for some reason, this one on their pictures, I'm just really drawn to it. And getting it in person, I have to say, I'm even more drawn to it. The first request, I think I was working with somebody else. They were like, because I think they only have like one of them. They're pretty rare. So they were like, I don't really want to send it. And I'm like, but I really want to see it. So finally got this one. And typically when I have a Seiko on the channel, I can pretty much do a no prep video. I can pretty much just run with it. You send me certain Seikos, this one included, takes me a minute. I have to do a little research. I have to learn a couple things. And I enjoy that. It slows it down a little bit, makes it so I don't have the time to make as much content, but I get to see and experience these really cool watches, and hopefully it'll come through when I do the video as well. So this is an enamel dial Presage chronograph, automatic from Seiko. And then there's more to it, right? So this is the SRQ033, retail price $3,900, using the automatic caliber 8R48. So there's the Presage hang tag. I don't have the box. The box is extremely cool. There's a couple other videos on YouTube showing the box. It looks very similar to like a light wood Omega box. It's a very nice box presentation that comes with it, as well as a red strap. This one's black with red on the bottom. That comes with a red topped leather strap as well, and some booklets and everything. So, but the real star of the show here is the watch for sure. So let's zoom in, because we have a beautiful enamel dial and a chronograph configuration with 3 registers and a date. So very cool that they have this layout in this style. On the side here, Savoia S21. I believe that's the name of the aircraft that this watch is kind of like a collaboration with. Also the signed crown. So in the booklet, and I'll put a link if I can find a good one, or maybe you just look it up, but it's Porco Rosso. So it's Porco and then Rosso is who this is tied to, and that is a kind of like a Japanese anime cartoon style. It's not like full-blown anime, it's more of a cartoon, but really well done. It's a weird storyline. I watched a little bit of it. It's basically some guy had a curse put on him, turned him into like a man pig, and then he flies around in this water, prop plane, doing bounty hunting with it. Like, none of it makes any sense to me at all. But the story is just comical, and it's very good animation. So it's like in cartoon style. It's just fun. And then there's all kinds of one-liners regarding like pig, right? So, for example, actually on the case back here, it says, I have no idea how to pronounce that. This phrase back here, I did the translation on that, and that says a flyless pig is only a pig. So there's all kinds of stuff like that. Like even on the box, I think one of the pamphlets that it comes with, it's in Japanese, but I think it translates to better a pig than a fascist or something like that. And then there's even, right there is what the cartoon character looks like. It's a very, very fun cartoon style pig animation. There's only 600 of these. And now that I've babbled for over 4 minutes, let's talk about the darn watch. So 42 millimeter case, lug to lug 49, thickness 15.4. I'm not mad about that, guys. This is an automatic chronograph with date. So I am not mad about 15.4 millimeter. We're going to go ahead and start the chronograph too. 7 millimeter crown. It is just a regular crown here. It's kind of a cupcake style one here, but you can wind it, and then there's a couple of positions. The movement inside, you can see it here. There's not a ton to see, unfortunately, for what the movement is, because the movement's actually pretty slick. The 8R48 movement is a vertical clutch column wheel, and then there's a couple other like watchmaking trickery in there, like a heart-shaped lever thing and some other stuff that are all designed to make the watch more robust than a chronograph should be. So this is actually, you know, a Seikoized, is that a word? That's not a word. Chronograph, meaning automatic chronograph, meaning that it's kind of tough. Like it can be worn, it can be used, and it's still a vertical clutch column wheel. So very cool movement. I have literally no experience with it. I may have had a watch on the channel with the 8R48 in the past, but I don't vividly remember it. Check out the enamel dial. You can always tell on the enamel dial because where it gets towards like where the recesses are, it like really coils in because you can't cut enamel. So you have to punch that into the dial first, then do the enamel. So the enamel goes all the way to those edges and rolls down in. So it looks like almost like a waterfall. So very cool that they do that. The balance on the chronograph hand is a crescent. That's very cool. Of course, you have your 30-minute counter register at 9 o'clock. You have your 12-hour counter at the 6, your date at the 4:30, and then you have your running seconds off to the right at your 3 o'clock position with those nice colors there of the flag colors for, and also tied in on the watch strap there for the cartoon. I almost kind of wonder if the handset too, the hour and minute hand at least, and maybe those smaller ones, are also like enamel coated. They're like beautiful. Very well done. So when you reset this guy, very snappy, just snaps back instantly. That crescent also perfectly frames in the center post on your 12-hour register. Unfortunately, like I said, you can't see a whole lot in the back here. Oftentimes, column wheel chronographs highlight and they'll show off their column wheel. In this movement, you cannot see it at all. It is covered by bridge work. So, and that just leads me to believe that that was not Seiko's primary goal with this movement. They didn't really care to like dress it up and show it off. They just wanted to build a very solid automatic chronograph. And I don't think there's any, there's no loom on this, which is common with enamel dials. You're not going to typically see loom applied on enamel dials. Kind of, I don't know, doesn't make sense. I kind of am in that crowd as well. And I'm not going to like full on do this leather strap onto my wrist, but rather I will just kind of, well, let me zoom back out. I will just kind of place it on my wrist and hold it there so you can see that it would wear great on my 7¼ inch wrist and even smaller. This is just a stunning looking watch. One of those surprise watches that you don't maybe realize that Seiko has in their lineup, but they absolutely do, and there's many more like this. This one just really catches the eye. There was 2 watches released in this series too. There was the chronograph, and then there was actually a 3-handed spring drive one with like a off-white dial, and then a similar handset, but done in like a brushed or chrome looking color to it. That one's really cool too, but for some reason this one just does it for me. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in this, hit up Jon at Exquisite. Tell him I sent you. Try to make the best deal possible, but there's only 600 of these, and a lot of them are probably already gone. This has been out for, I think, 2 or 3 years, so there's probably not a lot of these floating around. You're just going to randomly find them, like at Exquisite, or, you know, just they're just sitting somewhere, and people, that's what often will times will happen with, you'll have these great watches that maybe don't resonate at the time of their release. So then they kind of sit there, and then maybe a year, 2, 3 years go by, and then like someone like me, maybe you, notice it, and they're like, whoa, how did I not know that watch existed? And then you start to research it, and you're like, there's no way there's very many of these sitting on the shelf somewhere. Like, these have been out for a couple of years. So very cool that I was able to see it and share it with you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.